Hello everybody, welcome to another CSS challenge video. In this video, I'm going to be covering the surprisingly difficult yet extremely common problem of creating custom checkboxes. As you can see on the right here, I have 3 custom checkboxes that all have hover effects, all work when you click them, all uncheck when you click them again, and they work exactly the same as a normal checkbox. You can even tab through them. As you can see, I got a little shadow effect when you tab to it. They all work exactly like a normal checkbox would, and they'll even work for people that are using screen readers or other such devices to tab through the checkboxes or to read the labels from the checkboxes as they go, which is one of the things that is commonly forgotten when creating custom checkboxes. So to get started here, let's create the HTML that we're going to need for these checkboxes. Luckily, this is pretty simple. We just need a div that is going to wrap our checkbox. So we'll give it a class here. We'll just call it checkbox container. And inside of here, we're going to put our actual checkbox contents. So first, we want to put the input element for the checkbox. We're going to give it a type here, and it's going to be checkbox. And then we'll give it an ID here. We'll just call this one checkbox1 here. Close that off. And then we're also going to need a label for our checkbox. So let's put a label. We need to give it a for tag. The for attribute says what is this label for, and it is for our checkbox1 input right here, CB1. So we say for CB1, we essentially just put the ID of what this label corresponds with. And then inside of here, we're going to put checkbox1. We'll save that, open that up with live server. And then since we used this for attribute, clicking on the actual label will check the checkbox or uncheck it as we want it to. So I'm just going to copy this checkbox container here, paste it down 2 more times so that we have 3 checkboxes just like in the example before. And I'll just change the IDs and numbers here to be sequentially in order. So we got checkbox 2 up there, and then down here we'll have checkbox 3. And if you save that, we now have 3 checkboxes, just as we do over here. And we're ready to jump into the styles to style these actual checkboxes. The first thing I want to do is set up our box sizing to be border box, just so that sizing our actual elements will be easier with our widths and heights. And then we can go on to styling the container. So we'll use checkbox container here. And we're going to use flexbox in order to lay out our checkbox input element and our label, because flexbox makes it extremely easy to vertically align our elements. As you can see over here, our checkbox is actually at the top of our text. If we zoom in here, you can see that it doesn't line up quite right with the bottom of our text. So what we want to do is make it so that it's positioned exactly in the center. So we'll use display of flex here, and then align items center in order to center those things vertically. And now you can see our checkbox is dead center with our text, which is exactly what we want. Now we can move on to actually styling the label for our checkbox here. So let's go to our checkbox container class here, and we want to select the label inside of that. And all we want to do in here is essentially make it so that our label has a pointer when we hover over it, because we want to indicate that it's clickable. So in here, we're going to change our cursor, and we're going to make it pointer. So now when we hover over our label, we now get our pointer icon, and we're also going to want to do the same thing on our checkbox. So let's create another selector here, and this time it's going to be for an input element, and we want to only select our checkbox inputs. So we'll say when the type is equal to checkbox, then we want to use another cursor of pointer here. So now hovering over the checkbox or the actual label will give us a pointer icon, so that way we know it's clickable instead of just the normal cursor. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to hide this actual input element for the checkbox, because it's not easy to style these across different browsers. So we're going to create our own checkbox icon from scratch. So inside of our checkbox selector here, the first thing you would think of doing is just using display none to completely remove this element, and that will work. But now we can no longer tab through our different checkboxes, and screen readers won't actually pick up these checkbox items since they're no longer being displayed. So instead, what we want to use is we want to set the opacity to 0, and now it'll be disappeared. But we also want to make it so that our checkbox input element is not in our document and taking up space. If we were to change this to be 50% opacity, you see this checkbox icon is still here, and it's taking up space even when we change it to 0. You can see the text doesn't move over to fill in that space. So if we use position of absolute, now our element is no longer inside of the document taking up space, so our checkbox elements are now exactly where they need to be. So if we change this back to 0.5, you can see it's just overlaying inside of our label which is fine for our use case. We can change it back to 0. And now this is essentially the same as if we had done display none. This is one of the steps that is commonly overlooked when creating custom checkboxes, and is incredibly important in order to support tabbing, which is very common, as well as screen readers for people that have problems seeing. The next thing we want to do is create our new checkbox icon. In order to do this, we're going to select our label element, and we're going to use a pseudo element selector of before, which essentially adds in content before our label. So if we use the before selector here, and we need to supply content for any type of pseudo element such as before, and our content is just going to be blank since we don't want anything inside of our icon. And then what we want to do is we want to give it a width and a height. We're just going to use 1 EM. That way our checkbox will scale with our font size and always be the correct size, no matter if our font is as big as a heading or as small as a paragraph. We'll do the same thing for the height, so we have a perfect square. And then we'll give it a border here so that we can see what we're working with. We'll also use EM with this, so that way it'll scale with our font size. We'll make it solid black. And if you save that, you'll see that our checkboxes actually don't have any width being applied to them. And that's because these pseudo elements here inherit the display of their parent. So right now, our pseudo element for our label is inline, since labels are inline by default, and inline elements can't have any width. So let's go up to our label here, and we'll change this to display flex, which will make displaying our checkbox icon where we want it easier in the future. And if we save that, you now see that we have these 3 checkbox icons, which is perfect. They don't do anything right now when we click on them, but we'll add that functionality in a little bit. Let's finish styling up our element here by adding a border radius to it to slightly round the corners. We'll just say 0.15 EM again so that it will scale with the size of our font. And then lastly, we'll use a margin on the right side of 0.5 EM. And if we save that, we now have checkbox icons that look very similar to the checkbox icons over here. In order to add a hover effect to our icon, we'll go down here, select our label, and we'll say when we hover over our label, we want to change the before element of our label, and we want to give it a background color here. And we'll just use a light green background color here. And if we save that, hovering over our label will now cause our checkbox to have that background color, which is exactly what we want. But because we used an opacity of 0 and position absolute for our checkbox element, you see when we hover over here, our checkbox element is hidden right here with the opacity of 0. I'll make this 0.5 so we can see it. You can see when we hover over that, we no longer get our background color, and that's because we're no longer hovering over our label, we're hovering over our checkbox element. So we'll add another selector here, using the checkbox container again, and this time we'll use it to select the actual checkbox instead of the label. So we'll say input with the type equal to checkbox, and then we want to select when it's being hovered, and then we want to change our label, which is the very next child of our element. So we'll use the plus selector, which selects the very next sibling next to this element, which will be our label. So we'll say label, and the before element is what we want to change. And now when we save that, hovering over our actual checkbox icon will also do the highlight on our new checkbox icon that we created, which is exactly what we want. And essentially this selector is saying, inside of our checkbox container, look for our checkbox input element. When we hover over it, select the very next child that is a label, and take the before element and give it this background color. And this works because our label is after our input. If we instead made our label before our input, we would no longer get that hover effect when we went over this element. So we need our label to always be after our input in order to get this hover effect using the plus selector here. Let me change this opacity back to 0 so we no longer see those checkbox icons. And the next thing that we want to do is make it so that when we click on our checkbox, it'll actually do something. It'll add the check and change our background color. So let's go down here. We'll select our checkbox container again. We'll select the input element with the type of checkbox. And instead of hover, we want to say checked, which will be selected whenever our checkbox is checked. And then we again want to select the label before element. So now in here, what we want to do is change the background color to be a slightly darker green color. Get that right here. So now if we save that, you can see when we hover it, it's this light green, and when we check it, it's a slightly darker green color, which is perfect. And that'll work for all of them, and they'll stay that way even when we unselect them. And then if we uncheck it, you'll see that this dark green color will go away, and it's already starting to act a lot like a normal checkbox. Next, what we want to do is add in that actual checkbox icon, and in order to do that, we want to use the content selector here, and that'll tell us what content do we want to be inside of our element, and we want a checkmark icon, and in order to get that checkmark icon in CSS, all we need to do is use this icon code, which is 002714, which stands for a checkmark icon. So now, if we save this and go and click on one of our boxes here, you'll see we now get our checkbox icon inside of our checkbox. And if we uncheck it, it'll go away, and it'll stay there for all of our different checkboxes. But currently, this checkmark icon is not displayed very well, so we want to change our display a little bit in order to make it so that it's centered inside of our icon. So we'll go down here, we'll use display of flex inside of here, we'll justify the content into the center to make it so that it is center aligned horizontally, as well as we'll align the items in the center to vertically align it center, and now our checkmark icon is perfectly in the center of our checkbox. And the last thing we need to do is change our text color to be white so that our checkmark icon will show up a little bit better than the black icon. Now you'll see when we go and use these checkboxes, they'll all work exactly as expected, but normally when you click on a checkbox before releasing, something should happen to show that you've clicked on it. So in order to do that, we're going to use the focus state. This will also allow us to see which checkbox we have hovered over when we use tab in order to select our checkboxes instead of the mouse cursor. So in order to select that, we'll go into our checkbox container here. We'll use our input element to select our checkbox. And then we'll use the focus attribute in order to say which checkbox are we currently focused on. And then since we want to style the label, we'll use that sibling selector to get the before element of our label. And what we want to do in here is use a box shadow in order to use that shadow effect that we see here when we click on an element and focus on it or tab through our elements. So in order to do that, we want to use the first property of our box shadow, which is our offset in the x direction, which we want to be 0, since we want our box shadow to be in the dead center of our x-axis, as well as 0 for the y-axis offset. And then this third property is going to be the amount of blur we want our shadow to have, so we want to use 20 pixels so that it'll blur a little bit away from our checkbox, but not too far. And then lastly, we'll just use a color of black here. And if we save that, now when we click on it, you see we get this shadow around our checkbox, and this works for all of our checkboxes as well as when we tab through them. Now the only thing left to do is go back into our index.html here and add in some line breaks here in order to space out our checkboxes. And if you save that, our checkboxes now work exactly the same as our checkboxes over here on this page. And that's exactly what we want. This is perfect. The best part about these checkboxes is not only do they look good, but they function exactly the same as normal checkboxes, and they're completely accessible to people using screen readers or people that are using their tab and spacebar to select their checkboxes as opposed to the mouse. The code for these checkboxes may look deceivingly difficult due to these extremely long selectors that we have, but it's actually a lot simpler than it looks. Essentially, all we're doing is selecting our input element inside of our container that we created for our custom checkboxes, and then we're just determining which type of state we want to style. Do we want to style when we're hovering? Do we want to style when we focus on it? Or do we want to style it when we have it checked? And that's all that we're really doing with these big long selectors. So there's really not much code that goes into creating these checkboxes, and the most important part of this code is right here where we change the old checkbox to be an opacity of 0 and position absolute, which allows us to have accessible checkboxes for people using screen readers or the tab key as I've mentioned earlier. This is something that's very often forgotten, but is crucial when creating these checkboxes. We also used EMs in order to style our actual checkbox sizing. So if we go up to our label element and increase our font size to be, for example, 50 pixels, save that and zoom out, you'll see our checkbox actually scales to be the exact same size as our checkbox text here, and all of the spacing is exactly the same. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something about making scalable and accessible, good-looking custom checkboxes. If you guys did enjoy it, please leave a like down below and let me know what kind of CSS challenges you want me to complete in the future. Thank you guys very much for watching and have a good day.